Take a second to feel how we are feeling at the moment. Just making a little pause. And starting the exploration with the touch and differentiating the front body from the back body. So as we land with the soft palms of the hands and touch the whole front body, the forehead, the face, the nose, front of the neck, front of the chest, front of the belly. Just feeling the qualities of the front body, of the flesh in the front. And maybe we can massage the front or just glide with our hands and allowing the whole front body to soften. And also gliding with our hands from one palm down to the inner side of the hand and the inner side all the way to the armpit, and see how the palms of our hands and the inner side of our hand and the armpit continues into our chest and down the ribs all the way to the belly. So even how the muscles are organized from the front and the back, there is a difference in feeling. And then when we go down from the belly into the lower belly and the pelvis area and the front, also the front of the pelvis, and gliding from the pelvis into the inner side of our thighs. So trying to find this feeling of continuity, of the softness of tissue, the inner side of the thighs and the inner side of the leg. All the way down, coming to the undersoles of our feet. So feeling the softness of the bottom of our feet, and how it continues into the inner side of the leg and the softness of the thighs and the softness of the pelvic area and the belly and the chest and up to the neck. Okay, and now bringing in the back body as well. So finding an entrance point, maybe from the head, from the forehead, feeling the top of the head, and then feeling the back of the head and the back muscles of the neck, trying to feel the difference in quality between front and back. And feeling the back muscles moving and maybe touching some surface and initiating movement from the back. And going into the lower back and into the buttocks area, and see how these strong muscles of the back and the behind are continuing into the outer muscles of the leg. All the way down to the top of the foot. And also back of our hands, into the triceps, into the shoulder, into the neck and the back. Mm. Okay, I'm playing maybe a little bit with developing a kind of sponging between the front and the back. So how can we expand in the front and at the same time condense in the back? And also, how can we condense in the front and feeling the expansion in the back? So imagining and feeling that we are this pulsating tone, which is balancing the front and the back. As the front is expanding, the back is condensing. As the back is expanding, the front is condensing. And can we find the balance between the two? So for now, staying in the flesh, staying in the juiciness of the muscles. But also feeling that these muscles, as they are condensing and expanding and modulating, they are guiding our bones through the space. So adding the quality of bones inside this fleshy container, and remembering that our bones are also spiralic, and that we have all these joints in the body which are fluid spaces which allow movement. So how do these spirals of the bones can move through the space guided by our muscles? And feeling especially the spirals of the forearms and forelegs, where these two bones in the forearms and two bones in the forelegs, what is their possibility for movement, for spiraling, for exploring the space? And feeling how the front and the back body are communicating in the forearms, in the which muscles are condensing, which muscles are expanding. So trying to always the balance the condensing with some sort of expanding and on the other side. And our fingers and many joints in the hands, allowing many possibilities for movement, for spiraling, for exploring, and also the fingers, the toes in the feet as well. And bringing the quality of fluidity into all the joints. So feeling the joints are the spaces where the bones meet, but they are not glued together at that point. There is a space, and this space is filled with fluid so the bones can glide. And even feeling that we can initiate the movement from the joint directly from the space between the bones. Okay, so we explored a little bit fingers and toes and forearms and forelegs, but let's see what happens to the consciousness when we initiate from the big bones, the humerus in the hands and the femur in the legs. So the big strong bones which connect us to the central axis. And feeling the strength of the upper part of the hand and the thighs and the upper legs. And the spiral of the humerus and the femur. And also remembering that there is a relationship between the skeleton and the glands. So the thyroid gland is informing the humerus of the hands. So adding the central axis of the spine. And just remembering that the glands are also aligned across the length of the spine. From the bottom, from the perineal body all the way to the head. So without focusing on any particular gland, trying to feel how this ladder of glands from up to down is communicating with our bones, and how our central axis of the spine connects and expresses through the limbs outward and through the limbs inward. Okay, and then allowing our bones to just rest. So allowing the weight of the bones to sink into the ground. And allowing the muscles to let go a little bit of the movement, and connecting all the bones with the earth, with the ground. Feeling the relationship of bones with the earth, the bones being the minerals coming from the earth, made of the elements of this planet. And as the outward motion is diminishing, and the bones are yielding to the ground, feeling the aliveness of the bones and the bone marrow, as the fluid within the center of every bone, which is alive and fluid, and where the cells are being produced. So feeling the connection of the bone marrow and producing of the red blood cells, and how our bones are feeding and regenerating our blood. The blood which is carrying oxygen into all cells. So this intimate connection of our bones and the center of our bones with blood and nourishing of the every cell. Feeling how millions and trillions of our cells are breathing at this very moment. How every cell is taking in oxygen and resting and regenerating. And how all these nutrients enter into the cells. And there's a whole another world within the cell. And one of the key elements for our energy is mitochondria, a part of our cell. So trying with your imagination and with your feeling to just say hi to mitochondria within the cell, which is taking in oxygen and using this oxygen and the sugars and producing energy, which keeps the body running. Feeling it throughout the whole body, but maybe also in some particular places that you want to visit. And nothing really to do but to rest in this feeling, to acknowledge it, to respect it. not to control it, but to acknowledge it. Trying to let go of the mind, thoughts controlling the process, going under the tone. And just breathing with the whole body. Internally bleeding, breathing, which also influences the outer breathing. Yes, and just staying a little bit more with the mitochondria and accepting our mitochondria, our unique mitochondria as us, as our signature, as a very particular way life is expressing itself in us. Our mitochondria in our cells, immersed in the fluid that we are, and forming the tissues, our bones, and our organs, and our skin, and our brain, and the spinal cord, and the nervous system, our ligaments and joints, our glands, our fascia, our muscles, and our blood, and our heart. And our senses of the head, eyes, nose, ears, mouth. So taking a time to activate the senses and receive the world around us into the fullness of the body as a unit, as a unity. And slowly ending the exploration and finding a gentle transition. So we can come together for a sharing. No rush.